Hey everyone, it's Colaiacovo with pepper@marketing.com. And today the blog that I'm going to do is actually going to be a two-part blog, and I'm going to share tips on networking for getting more results on your Facebook business page. So today I'm going to talk about two tips that I want to share with you, and then the next issue of the blog or the newsletter article, wherever you read this, will share the other two. So let's get started here. And I'm working between two screens, so excuse my head tilt if it turns around. So first off, I'd like to introduce myself if you haven't met me already. My name is Colaiacovo, and I'm an online marketing and social media specialist. And I love helping small business owners who are service-based business professionals figure out how to get marketing strategies and tactics that work to help them build their business online. I like to say that I offer straight talk you can trust with marketing tips for how you can build and improve your business. I live on the east coast of Canada in Nova Scotia, and I am happy to share as many tips as I can with you guys and hopefully help you improve what you're doing online. So Facebook is the topic today, and I want to talk about a few ways that you can change some things, because I do believe for most businesses, especially a service-based business, you are looking at using Facebook business pages to help you market your business. But there's been some recent changes with them. They set some new goals in January and changed their entire algorithm on how they're doing the back end of what they're letting people see from the content in the news feed. And it's really coming from a place of changing their main goals of, instead of showing us relevant content, they're trying to make sure everybody's having more meaningful interactions. So their specific message that they put out is this one that you see here, which is basically that you're going to start to see more content from family, friends, and groups, and less from businesses, brands, and news media. So it's probably something you've noticed happening yourself on Facebook. And the goal today is to share some different hidden areas of our Facebook business pages that some people don't realize, partly because the change in navigation makes it harder to find and harder to get to, but also so that you can ensure that you're doing as much as possible to network and take as many opportunities as you can from the people that are connected to your page and are watching what you're doing. So this big change really is making a big change in how people are creating content for their marketing. One of the things that we've done from Pepper at Marketing and for our clients that we help is we're looking at trying to sort of roll back on scheduled and planned content and do more impromptu content. And we're seeing a change in that. But what I did notice this past week, and if you were part of my little test on my Facebook page, thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. But one of the things that you want to do is make sure that you're using your page as much as you can to take advantage of all the opportunities to connect with people and network with them. So it really is, I find social media is changing in general how people are using it. People are using Twitter differently than they did 5 or 7 years ago. And it just, as a business owner, it just means you have to be a little more smart with what you're doing with your marketing. So the 4 things that I want to talk about in these next 2 articles are visitor posts, reviews, notifications, and just getting engaged. So today we're going to cover the visitor posts and reviews, and then if you come back next week, you'll see the second part of this, which will be the notifications and getting engaged. So visitor posts. So this is what I did the test on my business page this week. And it's something that used to be very easy to find on business pages, but it's kind of gone into a hidden place. And so I'm going to go out to my Facebook page and show you guys exactly where you can find your visitor posts, because these are something that you do not want to be missing. They are actually the #1 thing you should be checking for whenever you're on your Facebook business page to make sure you're not missing an opportunity to connect with somebody. So it's really important that, too, I know some pages don't open up their business pages for visitor posts, but I believe everybody has something of value to share. And I also think that there are probably some cases where people don't need to open it up to visitor posts. I know some of the bigger brands don't do it. It would probably become a nightmare for them to manage. But for most of us smaller scale, you know, not a Coca-Cola or Pepsi-Cola or McDonald's that are using social media. You know, we may not have that problem, at least not today. We all want to aim for it, of course. But I believe because of that, you should allow people to post on your page. So I don't want you to be scared of negative stuff going there because you can't control it. And we'll talk about that in the second point here on reviews. But I do want you to make sure that under your settings, you have it so that people can post on your page so that they can engage with you. So we're going to go out here. I'm going to go on to my Facebook page. So first off, I want to show you how to make sure you know how to find your page. And I'm going to move my video camera because it's actually right in front of my computer screen. And so you're going to see me off on the side here a little bit, so I'm not looking around the camera. So what you want to be looking at, there's a couple ways that you can find your Facebook page. I find the easiest one for me is to go to the drop-down menu here. Another way that you can find it is by clicking your home page, and then you may have it saved over under your shortcuts if you've put it in a favorite area. Either way, you get to it and you want to go over to the page. So this is a typical layout of Facebook business page these days. And the easiest way that I have found, like most people will go down and you'll look and you'll scroll to see what's going on. So you have to pass the images or videos or any of the insights or notifications or the box to post, all of these different areas you're going to have to pass to get to the posts and see what's going on, okay? This is not where you're going to see if somebody has posted something on your page as a visitor. Where you're going to see that is typically, and sometimes it will show up directly on the side here. This is where it was for most people before. You would see a little section over here on the side that would say visitor posts. And even now in these little insight areas, it's not something that's going here that you're seeing there. So where you can find it the easiest way is to click the post button over here on the left menu. And then right at the very top, you're going to see the visitor posts. So this is when somebody who comes to your page, who's not an admin of your page, comes into the business page and writes something on it as a visitor to your page. So if you want to see those, the best way is to click. So you can take a look here and you can see what the date is and the time. And it's not something that happens a lot, depending on what kind of activity happens on your page. Some pages I find it happens quite often. So on mine, it's one of those ones that is just not something that a lot of people will do because they're more engaging back to what I have posted. So you can take a look at them. You can click on each one if you want to. I like to click on the arrow and go over here to see these visitor posts. So when you do this, you can see what happened with, you know, you can check out what other people have been posting, what's been put down there, things that are happening. So my theory on these is depending on what it is, you may want to answer it directly over here. But I also tell people that my Facebook page is open for questions anytime. You can post a question on there, ask me about it anytime you want to, about marketing, social media, business, whatever it is. And I'm happy to reply and answer. But I will do it by sharing it with the entire page. So you can see here, here's a perfect example. Kate had asked a question, you know, can you help me with this? I'm trying to do this. So you'll note that I didn't reply back there, but there's a share. So when I click there, this is how I answered it. I hit the share button and then typed up a post. Kate has a common question about groups and moderating posts, and then I answered it there. And then when I do that, I get a reach of people, whereas you don't typically see that kind of information when you look at a visitor post. So if people are asking you a question and it's something that could be answered to everybody, and one of the reasons you do that is to showcase your expertise. So take it, and instead of, now I will say I would back it up and say, I should have hit the like button, or I should have hit the comment button and said, hey, Kate, I'm going to answer your question on my page. But I did tag her when I did it. But with a lot of these recent changes now, I would actually make the recommendation that you hit the comment button, make a note to the person that you're going to answer it, and then hit the share button here, click the share to a page, and go in there and answer your question that way for them. And that's the way that you can go in and see that information. And it depends, again, on how you're going to be doing it and how you answer it. You can see these other ones I've made the comments back on. But my issue with that is that people aren't necessarily going to see a lot of that. And I wasn't sure how that was going, which is how the testing post that I did this week came out. So I did a little test here to see, you know, can you tell me if you're seeing this comment and where you're seeing it? And I think that's something that as business owners, you need to understand and know, where are people seeing it. So I posted on my page as a visitor, and I said, can you guys tell me how you're seeing it? So a lot of people answered that they're seeing it, and then they let me know where. Like they saw it on my business page, okay? Or they saw it in their personal newsfeed because they were my friend. So with that, I mean, I got 50 comments on it. People were telling me all over the place where I saw it. And then I could even see, like, this fellow Carl had posted on here. And thanks, Carl, for answering my question if you're listening to this. He had posted that he had seen it here. And I said, can you tell me how you saw it? Well, the reason that he saw it was my friend Darren had made a comment that he saw it. And after Darren had made the comment on it, Carl saw it in the feed of Darren. So that's how sort of the whole snowball effect of Facebook marketing can work for you, but it depends on how people are seeing things. And then we had a little conversation because I checked with him just to find out where. And so everybody was kind of letting me know. So typically what was happening with that is a visitor post, most people were seeing it in, you know, their news feed of what was going on. So when they're looking, whoops, wrong spot. When they're looking at their home feed and they see what their friends are doing or posting, they would see, you know, Kathy posted on Pepper at Marketing page, whatever. Or in Carl's case, you know, Darren made a comment on here that he could see it. So he thought, well, I'll just let them know if I see it too. And so he answered that way. So that's something you need to understand as a business page, is how people are seeing those other posts and comments. So that's why my practice with a visitor post, if it is a question that I can answer that would benefit or help other people, I go into the post. New rule is I make a comment that I'm going to answer it and put it out on the page, and then I go over there and do that. The other thing with this is you don't get to see, so for yourself, it's something that a lot of business page owners do by mistake, is they actually go in and mistakenly post on their page as themselves the person versus the business page. And when you do that, it shows up over here in the visitor post, and it actually, you won't be able to see what kind of reach you got on that or anything to that effect. So you're much better off to make sure that you're in the page as you, the business, and if you're using a cell phone, make sure that you download the Facebook Business Pages app. And just to make sure that you understand which one that is, okay, I don't know if you can see this or not, but we'll try this out. I'll look at my video to make sure you can see it. So in the middle here, the little flag one, that is the icon for the Facebook Business Pages app. If you do not have that on your phone, you won't be able to do everything properly as a business page that you should be able to do as the business on desktop. So make sure that you download that particular app and don't use your Facebook, don't use the Facebook one, which that is really intended for your personal Facebook. So if you have a business page, you want to download the app for it so that you're using it in the right way. And I find that's most often how people end up posting on their page as themselves versus posting as the page. So make certain that you go about it that way and use the page as much as you can as the business. Sometimes you may want to answer as the person. It just depends on how things are going. So the other way, just to show you the difference with that, what happens with the posts, I also did, and I'm just going to put it down here. So this was test number 2 that I did here. And so I wanted to see what's going on. This is one you can see, I can actually tell now how many people reach that. I have no idea on the one that I posted as me the person because I don't get the stats on it because it wasn't posted as a page one. As a page post, it was a visitor post. So it's really important that you understand the difference between a visitor post and a post on your page. Typically, you're, as a business, going to start the post on your page. And that's where you can see the stats and what's going on. And again, there was a ton of comments that came in here, and it made a big difference in how the reach went out there. And then people were happily telling me, you know, I saw it over here, it showed up on my feed. And people were even saying, you know, they don't see the visitor posts kind of thing. I did have one person say that they could see the visitor posts, visiting another page, but it's hard to figure out how you can make that happen if you can see that happening as well. I may have to do, maybe in part 3 of this, I'll do a little test of that and see if I can show you how you as a visitor can see them. So you can see that people put a lot of information in here. A lot of them were people that I knew or didn't know, were friends of mine. But I also had some people, like I said, can you tell me, are you seeing a page? Are you seeing it on the page feed or me, the person? So a lot of people said, you know, yes, I've seen it because I like the page. So that's where they're seeing it from. So the big lesson here is that you've got to make sure that you're going in and looking at those visitor posts, because you could actually be missing some good reach outs. There could be people out there looking to get a little further with you doing work. So you want to make sure that you're not missing those as part of your networking time and your marketing time that you're spending on your Facebook business page. So that is lesson number 1 here on visitor posts. Lesson number 2 is on reviews and negative feedback or posts. So one of the things that I just wanted to really share with everybody today is that sometimes I'll get pushback on being on Facebook and opening up the reviews to allow people to review your page. I really encourage you to do it and not to fear and not to worry about negative feedback or negative reviews. The reality is it's going to happen in life whether you have the reviews out there for public consumption or not. I have a really good blog. I'll actually share it in the article here that you can read about, you know, why you shouldn't worry about negative reviews. And I really believe this image that you see here, that your fans will often support you on social media when someone crosses a line. I do believe that if you are a good business person and you are good to your customers and you provide good customer service, you should not be worried about this. And if you get a bad review or a negative review that someone has put out on your page, one of the first things that you know, don't panic for starters, and look at it from a, you know, an objective point of view. Is it really valid? If it is and you were in the wrong, own up to it. If it's not valid, or if it's like really kind of out of this world type of thing, which I had with a client last year, they were worried because this guy had put a really bad review, and he'd actually gone onto Yelp and he'd gone onto Google, he put it everywhere, and she was really panicking about it. And I just said, you know, if anybody were to look at the guy in the picture, number one, he wasn't even close to her target client. Her typical client are actually retired people. So, and this was a young guy. And he was putting it out everywhere. His Facebook profile, when you looked at it, was kind of fake looking. So it wasn't something that I said, you know, you should worry about. And she actually embarked on a campaign to get more reviews from people and more reviews from clients. And as they came in, you know, his review went down in the list and it took over. And I really do believe, in the blog that I'll share with you that you can read about negative reviews, gives you a really good example of a situation where somebody was extremely worried about a review that this woman just made a point of even trying to get her friends to do fake reviews for this restaurant, and people just came back and jumped on the woman because she was in the wrong. So like I said, if you were in the wrong and you really were, you need to fess up to it, apologize, try to make amends. But if somebody's putting fake ones out there, different things like that, you will typically find that your loyal followers and fans will help you out. You may need to encourage a couple people to help you at the beginning if you don't see anything happening in 24 hours or so. But like my other client, you may have to let that little review that's negative, you can't do anything about it, but it's fake, and it wasn't, you know, at all representative of what you do and offer as a service, you may sometimes have to let it ride out till other ones come in there. So I want to share, though, what you should be doing with reviews when you get them on your Facebook page. So one of the things that a lot of people forget to do is actually to go in and reply back. So I always make a point that if someone has put in a review, that they go in and make a comment, the owner of the page to go back, or the business, and make a comment back and let people know that, you know, you appreciate it, you thank them for taking their time to do it, whatever it may be. So just don't ignore them, but make sure that you go in there and add something into it too, so that you're you know, not ignoring what's happening there. And that will get into number 4 in this lesson, in part 2 of the lesson, to help you out with, you know, engaging people online. So the last thing you want to be doing on your Facebook is having people engage and comment to you and put information on there, and then you're not replying back to them. So the whole point of being on Facebook is so that you can connect with people, network with people, and help them get to, you know, help them with tips to help out their own business or their own self, if, depending on what you offer, and also market and promote your expertise and what you do. So those are the first 2 sections of this lesson, which would be, I'm going to go back up here to my beginning pieces here. So it would be visitor posts and reviews. So I encourage you to go and explore a little bit on your Facebook page and see if you can find out where these are, what you've been doing with them. Have you been missing the visitor posts? Have you been answering them? Have you been commenting on reviews, ignoring them? Do you have any? Do you even have it open up for visitor posts or reviews? That's something, by the way, if you don't have, you can go into your settings on your Facebook page, and you can allow people. So you have to go into this setting and allow people to put that on there and allow them to post things on the page, add photos and videos. So you can limit that or not. If you're not letting people see it, then you may want to consider changing that. And then the same with reviews. You can add that in and allow that on your page as well. So make sure that you're doing those 2 pieces of opening up your page so that you can connect and network with more people. So that is it for part 1 of this lesson on networking on Facebook business pages to build your reach. And stay tuned for the next time. This is Colaiacovo with pepperatmarketing.com.